Today, we're going to cut through the headlines and really analyze the core principles behind Saudi foreign policy.
That's right.
Our mission here is to unpack a strategic mindset that is so adaptable that it treats allies and, adversaries not as fixed things, but as temporary roles.
Exactly. And the core concept that the source material points to is something called the stage doctrine, or in Arabic, akida al-marhala.
The stage doctrine.
And what's so fascinating is that this way of thinking, it just rejects stable values like loyalty or, permanent enmity. The calculation is always dynamic.
So for you listening, this means you should almost never read permanence into any diplomatic alignment you see. The main question is just purely pragmatic.
Purely. It's never about tradition or shared history. It's just,
Yeah.
is this relationship useful right now? Is the cost acceptable?
Mhm.
And most importantly, does it serve the top priority in this specific moment, in this phase?
Okay, let's unpack this new political dictionary then, because it completely changes how we think about connections.
It does.
Friendship, for example, is treated as a function, not, an emotional bond. Alliance is just a temporary bridge, not a permanent home.
And enmity isn't some deep-seated hatred. It's just an instrument, a tool for pressure.
Which explains why when the stage changes, the entire relationship can pivot, almost instantly.
Without a moment's hesitation. Yesterday's biggest rival becomes a negotiable file on the table, and today's partner. Well, they can suddenly become a burden you need to get rid of. It's all about sequential transactions.
Not a series of loyalties.
Never about loyalties. So this approach, it generates, let's say, three pretty specific and frankly tough characteristics in their diplomatic style.
Okay, let's get into the first one.
The first trait is that they manage relationships like a portfolio, not a story. Think of it less like a marriage and more like, a stock portfolio.
Diversified assets.
Exactly. It's all risk management. You distribute your cards, you always keep your lines of retreat open, and you absolutely avoid betting everything on one party.
And here's where it gets really interesting, especially for anyone dealing with them. The second trait. The absolute sanctification of flexibility.
Even at the cost of trust.
Right. But how can a major state afford to just burn trust like that? Isn't that incredibly short-sighted?
Well, that's the cold principle at work,
Okay.
because that's how you get trapped.
And the trade-off is clear.
Very clear. Because the roles are always temporary, the trust is temporary too. So other nations, they learn pretty quickly to tie their immediate interest to you, but never their long-term destiny.
That flexibility must lead to the third trait, which is this gap. This gap between their language and their actions.
It does. Trait 3 is basically fixed moral talk versus variable behavior. Publicly, the language is always about being an upholder of stability, a bearer of values.
But the actions follow the logic of the temporary stage.
And everyone sees that gap. They learn to anticipate the next pivot, no matter what the rhetoric of permanence is saying.
So what does all this aggressive flexibility get you? What kind of reputation does that create when everyone is watching you shift positions constantly?
The sources sum it up perfectly. You're seen as a strong partner, but never a guaranteed one, a sharp adversary, but one who is always repriceable.
An excellent ally in a crisis.
A fantastic one, but incredibly difficult to deal with in the post-crisis phase. The end result is you become a party that is used for your weight, for your capabilities.
But not trusted.
Not deeply trusted or involved with, no. The games are obvious. You get huge maneuverability, quick deals, the ability to swap sides without apology, but the losses are just as severe.
You lose the long-term allies.
You lose strategic allies, you lose moral credit, which you really need in a crisis, and crucially, you lose your margin for error.
You lose that diplomatic credit.
Exactly. Because no one really trusts your long-term plans. If you make a mistake or show confusion, your partners will punish it, and they'll punish it fast.
So the conclusion is striking. The stage doctrine gives you the power of movement, but it just fundamentally weakens the power of commitment.
Precisely. And the ultimate dynamic is that you gain many sophisticated players who will work with you, but you almost never gain believers. Other nations will smile, they'll sign the deal, but they'll always be operating with, their fingers on the exit button. That's the cold reality of it all.